All right, let's get into the latest news and rumors around the Miami Dolphins. And could we see T.Y. Hilton going to Miami? I mean, you say it all the time, Tom. This is eyeball season.
It is eyeball. And that's exactly what T.Y. Hilton did, which we'll get to in a second. But long story short, asked on Twitter, remember, he went to FIU, so it's kind of a reunion for him. Hey, are you going to come to the Dolphins? We'd love to get you there. And his response was, I'm a free agent. So which, by the way, exactly what all free agents should do. You don't dismiss any options when in reality, this is probably going to be T.Y.'s last big contract. You want to keep your options open as best as humanly possible there.
The other thing with T.Y. is, you said big contract. I'm not in the realm that I would honestly offer T.Y. Hilton a big contract. Like, he's still a good receiver.
Okay.
But he has dealt with plenty of injuries. Sure, you could make the adjustment that he's had a lot of different quarterbacks over the last 2 years. But, I mean, 1,300 yards the last 2 years combined. I just don't think he has the tools that really fit to what Miami is trying to do.
I disagree with that last part, which we'll get into in a second, as here's the tweet, by the way, from T.Y. Hilton. Keeping his options open, eyeball emoji season. Let's define big as it relates to contract. What's the max you would pay T.Y., or like the range you would pay T.Y.?
I don't think I'd go over $10 million, which is why I'm not going to get T.Y. Hilton.
I think he could end up going for like 12, 13.
What, like a 1 year, $13 million? See, I'd rather save that money and go another route.
I don't think he's going to get top 5 receiver money, in part because of the injuries that you mentioned. But when he's been out there, T.Y. Hilton, despite not being the biggest guy ever, has done a pretty damn good job of being a football player. Now, he hasn't quite, reached his prime early, like first contract, 2015, 2016 production. He's missed time in each of the past 3 years. But I think if you're Miami, I think he does fit what you're searching for. I'm going to put him in the slot. He can still line up outside as well. But I feel like you take Albert Wilson, you press the upgrade button a few times, and now you got T.Y. Hilton.
See, I understand your T.Y. Hilton strategy, but if you're going to take a receiver, why not then go with a guy like, I don't know, Devonta Smith, Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle at pick 3, or even you could probably get Waddle at 18.
I don't know about that.
But I'm saying, like, if you want a receiver,
yes,
give me one of those top 2 guys, like Chase and Devonta Smith at number 3, but then I'll pass on Hilton.
Okay.
Like, I would rather go cheaper.
Fair.
Give me a guy like Curtis Samuel who's younger, doesn't have the injuries, and if you want to put him in the slot, do that.
God, Curtis Samuel would be awesome for Miami.
That's the route I would go. It's not so much the hating on. I'm not hating on T.Y. I just think there's better options at a cheaper price value. So T.Y. Hilton obviously is going to be a free agent, and well, he's not getting any younger here. So should the Dolphins go out and sign T.Y.? Type Y for yes, or go down in the comments section and let us know. Type N for no. I'm going to respectfully type N for no, but I'm not saying that they don't need a receiver. I just don't think it should end up being T.Y. Hilton. Let's talk about the future of Tua and what's the latest going on with him. Obviously, there's been a lot of news and rumors going around who's going to be the Miami Dolphins quarterback, despite Brian Flores being pretty convincing, saying, hey, it's going to be Tua. However, there's been a lot of players that have said, well, maybe we shouldn't just give him the job. Yeah,
the Tua's comments, by the way, were pretty interesting there. He went on the Dan Patrick show, and Dan was like, hey, I'm going to buy it. I planned on buying a Tua Dolphins jersey. Should I buy now or should I wait a little bit?
Damn.
And Tua's response was, honestly, I'm not too sure. I can't control things that I can't control. What I can do is continue to work hard. Now, those second 2 sentences, exactly what you want your quarterback to say.
Correct.
I'm blocking out the noise. Obviously, I'm aware of it. I'm not going to pretend to be that naive, but I'm blocking it out and I'm focusing on myself. But he did offer the I don't know, which is pretty interesting, Mitch.
I mean, it's definitely interesting considering the fact that they drafted him number 5 overall, but this comes down to this. The National Football League is a business, and if an NFL team thinks that they can get better, they should try to do so. Now, is Tua going to be a good player in the NFL? I think so.
I think so.
Is he ever going to be a top 5 quarterback overall? That still remains to be seen. But, I mean, you do see quarterbacks take that next step in year 2. I mean, think about it just the last recent years. Kyler Murray took a big step in year 2. Lamar Jackson won the MVP. I mean, Patrick Mahomes took another pretty good size step. So, like, you see these
statement.
Yeah, I mean, you see these young players, they can take that next step.
Yeah.
I think the other issue, though, with Tua is, remember, I'm going to go back to November, where he had a pretty famous quote that was like, talking about how he thought the NFL was a lot easier than he originally thought. It definitely caught up to him a little bit, but the fact that he's saying that he's not sure, I mean, there's a lot of smoke.
I appreciate the honesty from Tua there, and I think he was trying to focus more on I'm not worried about it, but that's, welcome to where we are in this crazy NFL quarterback cycle. I'm of the mindset this way. If you're Miami, if for whatever reason you don't want or don't get Deshaun, you're focused on Tua then.
100%.
It makes no sense to draft somebody else. Stick with your guy in Tua.
So let us know, what is the percent chance Tua is the Dolphins starting quarterback in 2021? So hopefully y'all been to school, right? So 0 to 100. What is the percent chance that Tua is going to be the Dolphins starter in 2021? I'm going to go out and say 85%.
That's about what I was going to say, actually. I'm in that exact same area. I think it's pretty much chance
Tua
of Deshaun.
It's Tua or Watson.
Exactly.
And I think they are going to stick with Tua unless you can figure out a way to get just an incredible offer. But seeing right now in the live chat, seeing about 100%, some 40, some 50, some 80s. I think it's 85 to 90%. But everyone that comes across this video on YouTube, seriously, go down, let us know the chance that Tua is a Dolphin starting quarterback in 2021. NFL news here on J.J. Watt and what exactly is his future. So there was a report that Watt could be done in Houston. Tom, what's the latest going on around Watt, and could we see another star player from the Texans be thrown into all these trade rumors?
I think there will be trade rumors around J.J. Watt, and where things are very difficult to determine what's most likely right now is that if Houston was trying to win football games with Deshaun Watson, they'd probably keep J.J. Watt.
Yep.
I think at some level, probably at the ownership level, although who knows, Cal McNair is not doing a good job, probably wants to do right by J.J. Watt.
Sure.
Watt's not out here publicly asking for a trade, but he's aware of the rumors and spent some time drinking down in Mexico. Good for you, JJ. That's what I would do too. Where things get difficult to figure out, though, is if you do choose to move on from J.J. Watt, it is a 1-year, $17.5 million deal.
Correct.
That makes things difficult from a trade perspective without an extension on top of it.
Yep.
So and that limits the number of teams that I think would have a bunch of interest in J.J. Watt, and especially because you're going to extend a guy who, in reality, has injury concerns.
Absolutely.
And if Houston is just trying to do right by J.J. Watt, they might just release him and say, you know what, JJ, thank you so much. Because of the size of the contract, we had issues finding a trade partner. You want to go to insert team here. They can't take you on except at a significantly reduced cost, so we're going to cut you outright. So I would not be surprised if Watt's somewhere else next season.
I'm with you.
I just don't know if it ends up being a trade or a cut for JJ Watt.
And I would actually advise teams that are interested in going out and getting JJ Watt to not go out and trade for him, because if they do try to move on, the Houston Texans, that is, they save that 17.5. I'm a believer, and you see it all the time, when there's insert player name that could get cut, randomly NFL trade rumors start popping up around that player. When nobody ends up biting, what happens? They end up getting cut. So where will J.J. Watt play next season? I am a big fan of them moving on from a guy like Watson. However, I would like to see Watt finish his career in Houston. Maybe I'm old school, but he has done so much for that city, so much for that franchise. However, if he has an opportunity to go win some football games, then I will want the best for J.J. Watt in that realm. But in terms of places he could go, a team that needs to win now and a team that needs a defensive tackle, another team that needs that, they got a lot of draft picks, Miami Dolphins. And I'm going to keep throwing them out there. So where will J.J. Watt play next season? Go down in the comments and let us know. Let's get into the latest around Deshaun Watson, because for a long time we've been trying to keep you update, and now there's a report out there around the potential asking price.
Yeah, John McClain, who is the lead Texans beat writer, said this was not like the full-fledged asking price, but like what it was going to be or would be in the end, since Houston doesn't want to trade Deshaun right now. At least that's what they've been leaking out there.
We'll see.
At least 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and 2 young defensive starters. So that's a little bit different than the 3 firsts and a pick and a player type deal, but kind of the same. It's in the end, you're getting a similar thing, because they probably spent one of those first on a young defensive starter. That's a pretty significant asking price. Then again, it is Deshaun Watson, so that makes some sense.
I mean, when you're seeing players like Stafford, let's just say, getting 2 first-round picks, it's like, okay. Or, I don't know, Jamal Adams, 2 first-round picks. Jalen Ramsey, like, you're seeing some of these other players go for 2 firsts. If you're telling me that Deshaun Watson isn't worth 2 first-round picks at least, you're crazy. I mean, I would give up 3 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson. I will say 95% of teams should as well.
Once you start assigning, like, players to the first-round picks, you feel a lot better about doing that. Like, I know you mentioned, like, the Raiders could, like, 3 first-round picks is Josh Jacobs, Cleveland Ferrell, and Jonathan Abram. Which you do in a heartbeat right now.
Absolutely.
For the Raiders. Now, the picks could be used differently. Rebuilding teams like Houston might end up being would feel better about their ability to maximize their own picks.
Absolutely.
But that's kind of where we're at with Houston, and we'll see what ends up happening. There are still some who don't think Watson's going to get traded by the Houston Texans.
No, it's that no-trade clause, but we will ultimately see, and we'll be keeping you guys updated here. So go down in the comment section below and try to look into your crystal ball. Figure it out. Where do you think Deshaun Watson is going to end up playing next season? I'm team either Jets or Miami Dolphins. I'll tell you what, though.
Can I take the field against those two?
Okay.
All right, field. Yes.
Tom's going to get the field.
I don't know. So many options.
I'm going to be a little bit more risky. I'll go Jets and the Dolphins, but if y'all want to throw it down in the comments, seriously, let us do that.